Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
This is a reminder, Ripple's going back up on the board on link2.com. If you're a accredited investor and you want private equity and you especially want Ripple, you can get $1,000 back if you use your Uphold wallet and the crypto in it to buy that Ripple. As a show that crypto is in fact currency, they're going to give you $1,000 back in Bitcoin. And there's many other great products on there as well. Make sure you check it out. BitPay, Uphold, Link to itself. There's so many great products. I can't even name them all, but make sure you don't miss out. Today at around 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Time or 11 to 12 p.m. Pacific Time. And when it hits, you understand what's going on. Link2 offers this stuff at half the valuation that Ripple currently has right now, which is a $15 billion valuation. They're offering the share price right now at $7.3 billion valuation. This stuff is flying off the shelf. Make sure you check the link in the description and comment box right here. This is James K. Filing telling all of us, for those who haven't seen this already, the White House wants crypto rules as a matter of national security. Now, we've covered this, but I want to just take you through some of this really quickly to let you know what's going on as we move into the weekend. Because if you remember, going into last weekend, the talk of the executive order was slightly different than it is now. Now it's being said it's a matter of national security. So we need to pay attention to this week to week, how this narrative is getting more specific, right? This is designed to look holistically at digital assets and develop a set of policies that give coherency to what the government is trying to do in this space. The State Department, Treasury Department, National Economic Council, and Council of Economic Advisors would be involved in the initiative. The White House National Security Council would also be involved, the person said. Since crypto has economic implications for national security, along those lines, the administration would instruct agencies to work on harmonizing regulations of digital assets between countries. Because digital assets don't stay in one country, it's necessary to work with other countries on synchronization. The White House wouldn't issue recommendations. Agencies would be given 3 to 6 months. Now, there we go, to come up with these proposals. So now what are we talking about, right? So now we're talking February, March, April, right? Or June, July, August. So somewhere between April and August here is what we're looking at. We've got a window now, ladies and gentlemen. So the White House aims to bring order to the haphazard approach and the government is now using to regulate crypto. Various agencies oversee the industry, including the SEC, the Commodities Futures Trade Commission, and there's no consensus on matters such as whether some tokens should be registered as securities or how to oversee exchanges, stablecoins, and high-yield lending products. I love how they say high yield lending products as if that's a bad thing. Oh, it's a bad thing, all right, because the lobby money from the bank says, hey man, they're like earning tons of money and we're losing a crap ton of customers to this high yield lending products. Y'all need to regulate this so we can either start offering it too or shut them down from doing it. Make no mistake, Those are your choices. Right here, Ron Hammond says we should see the glass as half full, and I'm going to, Ron. But, we have a lot of reasons, Ron, and I know that you know this, but it does bring great comfort that someone like you is in there working with these representatives every day, and that is not a, kiss Fanny statement. I mean that. Ron Hammond is an architect to the Token Taxonomy Act, and I really do find myself grateful that people like him are in there to educate the political leaders. So he says, while the details are still coming in about the White House, former Majority Leader, California State Assembly is spot on in terms how policymakers and staff close to the administration are framing the impending executive order. And the guy he's pointing to here says, they're looking at cryptocurrencies at the White House and how to regulate. Shouldn't be interpreted as negative. If anything, regulation brings legitimacy and broader adoption. More people participating is good. You can't get there without minimum level of consumer protection. Completely agree. But I have some thoughts, real quick thoughts here from Link2, and I want you to hear this because this has been the problem, and we have said this on this channel consistently, and I think it's said very well here. Every crypto exchange wants to avoid being regulated as a securities exchange. Obviously. Their ability to continue avoiding that regulation is contingent on digital assets they list being considered non-securities. That's why the SEC versus Ripple Labs case is so vitally important, because if the SEC's argument prevails, their interpretation of what constitutes a security gives them a dragnet to take in pretty much every token that's listed on the U.S. crypto exchanges today. Not a good thing for exchanges, not a good thing for financial regulation, not a good thing for continued U.S. tech innovation in digital assets. We urge everyone who's a U.S. citizen to get involved. Make your concerns known to your elected representatives if you care about the future of digital asset economy in the United States. United, we win. And I tell you, I love this company and these people. And look here, crypto law, you can connect with your congressman and really express what we're talking about here. It's because Gary Gensler sees himself as a hammer that I believe he sees all digital assets as a nail. And that's the problem. I wouldn't have a problem with the SEC regulating the exchanges if we had the confidence to understand that Gary Gensler wouldn't use that appropriation to call all digital assets securities. That's the fear here. So we definitely have to have something. We're looking and staying positive, Ron. We're staying positive that the White House will give us something between April and August that will provide some kind of direction that hopefully Congress can take from and deliver some legislation like the Securities Clarities Act, the Token Taxonomy Act, and the Digital Commodities Exchange Act, which would all settle this combined together for sure. Looking right here, crypto advocates are sounding the alarm over the recent provision in the U.S. bill. We talked about this. This is the America's Competes Act, which has got that little piece in it that gives so much power to the U.S. Treasury and Janet Yellen. But it's important to understand that the U.S. Treasury itself already has this power in limited quantities. The difference here is that it would, in the new provision, remove the comment period and 120-day expiration and explicitly adding digital assets to the types of financial transactions that the Treasury Secretary can restrict, meaning no holds barred. She can do what she wants. You get rid of the expiration period, and there's nobody can tell her anything. That's not a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's got to go. And this reflects back to the, I'm going to see the glass is half full, but look at what's going on here and what they're trying to do in this bill. You know, look at the verbiage from the infrastructure bill and how that got jacked up, right? And shout out to Senator Shelby for, running that plane down into the mud, right? It's, this is where we have got to get better in the United States with this creepy, sneak it in, try to give dictatorial power to just one particular agency. It's quite frightening when you see that stuff. Just the attempt alone. But you know what? Let's talk about this, because this attempt was extremely successful. R3 is proud to have been a part of the Project Helvetia in collaboration with the BIS, which is the Central Bank of Central Banks, which was underpinned by R3's quota, marks a significant advancement in CBDC research and testing and piloting. Now, they did hundreds of tests and pilots of many different scenarios. I'm not going to read you the article because this is actually from a couple weeks ago when we actually covered it. But I'm going to take you somewhere here, so stay with me. What's important about this for me is that, it went extremely well. And it was underpinned by quota from R3, which also gives anyone on quota the ability to use the quota settler, which has access to the digital asset XRP for digital settlement. Very important to remember that. Not conjecture, not speculation. That's a fact, Jack. Take a look at here. Ripple eyeing more capabilities to the XRP ledger as we move into 2022 and that new valuation of $15 billion. I want to highlight this because I'm going to show you something here. Now, understand everything that's in front of us here. I just showed you the pilot that went on between many different regions and central banks and the BIS and R3 and Quartus platform, which has access to the Quartus settler with access to the settlement of XRP. Okay? So now, here I'm sitting here showing you that they are intending to move forward with many different aspects of what they can do at Ripple and with the ledger. And we see here they also noted that Ripple's payment network, RippleNet, has evolved beyond just cross-border payments. It's now providing crypto-native solutions such as liquidity to corporations. The network presently has a volume run rate of over $10 billion. That's a lot of money. The Ripple chief further touted Ripple X, which is all set to bolster the utility of XRP Ledger in a number of fledgling sectors such as NFTs, central bank digital currencies, side chains, and interoperable bridges. Then they'll have to remind you of what we saw right here. Why did the buyback happen, right? Some of us were concerned that maybe it was a liability issue. They wanted to buy those shares back in case there was a not so favorable designation or judgment that came out in the case. And then some said, no. That's not it at all. They're doing it because they believe that they're going to win and it'll strengthen the company as they move forward. Well, Ripple answers the question to Charles Gasparino.
But people are looking at this a lot of different ways. They're saying, oh, maybe they're buying it back to limit their liability to outside investors if they should lose the case. When we ask Ripple, they're like, no. We feel very confident. We believe we're buying it back because we're confident in our position. And guess what? As soon as we win, we're going public. Ripple.
Think of this, ladies and gentlemen. Think of this moment. Look at all of this coming together here, right? Between April and August with the executive order, which we should see Congress act on that information to give us some kind of legislation if they choose to do what they're paid for, right? And hopefully they get that done without any more screwy, creepy verbiage in there that provides dictatorial power to one specific agency. All about the time that we know that this case should be ending. Things are aligning here, ladies and gentlemen. I believe, look, at some point here, we are going to reach a resolution here. This will get worked out. It feels like it never will, but it will. And when it does, we're never going to have to speak on the matter again. How about that one? And understanding what we are going into, look at how bullish Ripple is because of the moves they've made and the wins they've been getting in the SEC case, as well as what they're working towards regardless of being sued. Look at the second one. Explosive growth in crypto payments is what 2022 will hold. And that is really, really incredible. Now let's take a look at the most recent events going on in the case. This is a response now that Ripple has filed the response to the really ridiculous response of the SEC. And Jeremy Hogan says here, when me and Tony Kellogg see the exact same thing, he just says it much, much better. You know it's got to be right. I can't wait for the next video to come from Jeremy Hogan on all of this. He says, we write on the behalf of the defendants of Ripple to respond to SEC's letter notifying the court that yet another out-of-circuit decision between the SEC and Keener here, as in the previous letter, once again ignores the differences in procedural posture. Its latest case was decided on a motion for summary judgment upon review of the record, whereas its motion to strike asked the court to dispose of Ripple's defense without even considering the factual record. The SEC also continues to ignore that in this circuit, even disputed and substantial issues of law are more properly determinable only after discovery and a hearing on the merits. It cites the cases. It says the SEC has not identified any controlling authority granting a motion to strike defense comparable to the one Ripple has asserted here. Without such controlling authority, the SEC's motion must fail under the Second Circuit's standards for motion to strike. No amount of circuit cases in different procedural stages will change that. The decision would not help the SEC in any event. The SEC argues that the law was clear regardless of whatever guidance it issued or declined to issue. And it goes on to say here, it's just a sign. I thought there was another little sentence there, but there isn't. But there you go. So there it is. That's their response into what's going on. But let's keep it going here. Because Jeremy Hogan goes on to say the SEC is not winning these cases at the motion to strike stage, where the Ripple case is at currently, right? But later in the litigation at motions for summary judgment, the fair notice depends on specific facts of each case and will be decided at summary judgment and not at the motion to strike stage, in his opinion, right? So very much thankful for that. Now this is the UK Chancellor right here. at I believe it's COP26, right? Which is one of these coalition agenda things. So let's listen to what he says here, and I want you to think, and we're going to speculate for a second, but what suits this? Has Ripple been building the market infrastructure and building it with a ledger that is carbon neutral? The answer is yes. That's the end goal, right? And what's the market infrastructure they've been building? They've been building the market infrastructure to be able to run and settle all the money for the financial system. Well, take a listen right here. And let us not forget, while we listen to this minute-long gem, that the Digital Pound Foundation has Susan Friedman on it from Ripple, who's formerly from the Treasury.
This is a historic wall of capital for the net zero transition around the world. What matters now is action, to invest that capital in our low carbon future. To do that, investors need to have as much clarity and confidence in the climate impact of their investments as they do in the traditional financial metrics of profit and loss. So our third action is to rewire the entire global financial system for net zero. Better and more consistent climate data, sovereign green bonds, mandatory sustainability disclosures, proper climate risk surveillance, stronger global reporting standards. All things we need to deliver, and I'm proud that the UK is playing its part. Today, I'm announcing that the UK will go further and become the first ever net zero aligned financial centre.
How about that? How about that? If that doesn't sound like this man is describing the XRP ledger, I just don't know what is. Am I speculating? You better believe I am, but I'm a speculator. If you're hearing my voice, you are too. Well, let's reinforce it with this, because this is from the GBBC conference, and this is Steve Witt from Zang.com telling you, as they have this conversation about how to get to a new blockchain system and use DLT. Listen to this back and forth, which aligns here and supports the notion that we may be hearing the UK Chancellor, in fact, talk about the actual XRP ledger. Take a listen here.
Chain empowering green regional development.
So especially what we are doing now with the Interwork Alliance, and that we are basically like building a solution according to the standards set by Interwork, and that we collaborate with each other to set standards and have blockchain technology as like an audit accounting tool. That's the most, that blockchain has the most added value as an accounting tool, basically, for us as well. It provides transparency in the market, and that's why we're utilizing that technology in our solutions as well, because it brings transparency to the market, basically.
Ironically, and certainly in some circles.
Now she's about to talk about that COP26 that the UK Chancellor was just at. But listen what she says and what the people say here.
Has a huge degree of mistrust as a technology. I mean, I'm still so surprised. Again, COP26, the only mention of blockchain as a innovative solution in sustainability was as the worst for the environment and the least clean. What are your thoughts on that?
Bitcoin. Yeah.
Why were you
Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's why we chosen to work build this on the XRP ledger instead. So we looked at the right way to issue and implement the token taxonomy framework on a carbon neutral blockchain. So
A carbon neutral blockchain.
basically, it all depends on which protocol you prefer, and especially what Sammy was mentioning. Bitcoin is a polluter out there, but there are alternatives. So
there you go, right there. And reminder, that guy talking is Steve Witt from Zang.com, who has been selected by the United Nations and will increase the partnership with Zang.com to view offering market infrastructure solutions for the African Great Green Wall carbon credits.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.